Welcome back to Card Corner. Today we're doing an unboxing and review of the Flip deck by Never Never. All right, we got a deck of the new Flip deck from Never Never. This is the third deck from the relatively new company. One of the co-founders is prominent cardist Nikita. You might have seen him in the Fontaine trials, or nowadays maybe TikTok. Very, very talented cardist in the scene. Like I said, this is their third deck of cards that they've produced. First deck was the Bite deck. More of kind of just a random run-of-the-mill deck. It had some funky pugs on there. It was kind of just like a quirky looking deck. But with their second installment of Focus, the company has kind of shifted to a more visual kind of deck with a very strong theme in mind. The Focus deck, of course, was that blurred deck of cards. And now we have the Flip deck. It's an animated deck with chroma key green as the background. You'll see once we open it up. On the front of the tuck box is a picture of all the cards laid down, kind of like this uncut sheet, which is okay. It's not the worst idea for a tuck box design. It's not the best. I kind of felt the same way about the Focus deck. The Focus deck just featured a picture of someone holding the Focus deck, which, you know, you can argue that kind of breaks away from traditional tuck box design, but in a good way, I don't really know. This is a fine image for the tuck box. It's not the coolest or the greatest, but it's kind of just there. On the side here, it says Flip. On the side here, it says Never Never. And in the back, we have that kind of fade into color design that we get through the Focus deck as well as the Bite deck, this time in that chroma key green. These were made by WJ and they are one of 300. This is the standard edition. They did produce a Gilded Edge edition. I stand on business with Gilded decks. Gilded decks, dude. I hate Gilded decks. I will never buy a Gilded deck. Granted, this Gilded deck was a bit more warranted. It felt more appropriate with this chroma key green, you know, having a shinier green edge, I guess kind of adds to it, but also kind of not. I don't know. Dude, I hate Gilded decks. You'll never see me with a Gilded deck. If you like Gilded decks, what are you, a magician? Get the fuck out of here, dude. It's my favorite joke to tell. Okay, it's got a pull tab here so you can open this deck nice and easily. Tuck box is a standard kind of soft matte tuck box. This says something in Russian, I'm assuming. Before we continue with this review, please make sure to like this video. It really helps out my channel. And of course, if you'd like to see more playing card content, you can subscribe. You can even hit the bell button to get notified when new videos drop. Back to the review. Boom, there's one of the back designs. See a fan there, okay. You get kind of a weird fan. Mainly green with just like a few white cards. Honestly, this edge of this deck is very bright and it straight up looks like it's shiny already without the gilding. So I'm really, really glad I didn't get a Gilded deck. I don't think it's necessary. I'm sorry. Sue me. All right, I'm gonna do my best at this angle to show you the animation. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there, I gotta say. See the other way. Comes with I guess like a full sheet of how to like redo this deck once you shuffle it up. Still kind of hard to figure out, I feel like. I'm not gonna shuffle this deck up really because I might wanna do promo videos with it. And once I shuffle it, I'm never, ever fucking putting it back in order. Ever. Not even once. Granted, it's supposed to kind of work still with like this flipping motion once you mix it up as well, but it will never be in new deck order ever again. I guess this is a little more helpful. All right, we get two cards here that show kind of front to back how to put them back in order. Nah, dude, this is confusing as So at the end of the decks, we get these map cards, and then we get these Never Never, I guess, Joker cards. One's inverted. The backs have the full black and white back design right there. Starting here, we get the Ace of Diamonds. And then as you see, it starts to slowly flip around. Each card ever so slightly turns, with the back design mirroring said turn. Oh man. Dude, now you also just have these 3 cards, or at least these 2 cards, that are essentially just normal cards upside down in the deck. You just gotta remember that these cards are upside down. Oh man, kind of a logistical nightmare. I will say though, I really like this Ace of Spades right here. Don't know what it is. Kind of looks like a bug? I don't know. Someone tell me what this is. I have no idea. And that's it. I don't really know what else to say. I think I'm gonna save my out of box review. We're just gonna go to a full review at the end here, because I feel like my feelings are gonna be more or less the same. Of course, I am gonna have to break this deck in to know how I like them when it comes to the feeling and handling, but I will say off the bat, they feel better than the focus deck. I didn't love how the focus deck handled. That was a heavy deck of cards. This is a much thinner deck of cards. I feel like they will be easier to handle. No shade if you enjoy heavy ass decks of cards. I don't, and that was the one downside to the focus deck for me, was the denseness of those cards. They were dense ass cards, bro. I will say, when it comes to the back design, without revealing like my score or my thoughts on it yet, look, I think it was a cool concept. I think it's a really cool concept, and bravo on them for pushing the boundaries and making a really wacky, cool concept deck. That being said, I feel like this deck is a bit of a one-trick pony. Like, yeah, this looks cool. That looks cool. Anytime you do any kind of riffle type move, I think it will look cool. But will they look cool when you're just doing packet cuts or literally any other type of cardistry? I don't think so. I will have to do said packet cuts and cardistry with them before I fully commit to that opinion, but something tells me that that's how I'm gonna feel on it. So I don't know, we're gonna have to see for the back design how well I rate them. It is innovative, but am I gonna pick up this deck all the time? Probably not. I think the ooh factor might wear off a bit quickly for me after I do just a few riffles of this deck. But again, we will have to see. We will have to see. Skipping the out-of-box review, I'm going to play with these cards for a while, and I will be right back. All right, here are my final thoughts and review of the Flip deck by Never Never. Back designs. Oh, buddy. I'm gonna have to hit you with a 6.5. Look, I said it in my review. This is kind of a one-trick pony type of deck. Is it innovative? Yes. Is it versatile? No. And that's why I have to give it such a low rating. First of all, like I thought, outside of doing flip motions, this deck does not look very appealing when you're doing like literally any other type of cardistry, whether it's fans, whether it's single card motions, whether it's packet cuts. If you're not riffling through the deck or doing a spring, the back design really doesn't serve a good purpose. On top of that, if you want to actually achieve the flipping motion, you truly have to really do it in new deck order. I thought there'd be a little more crossover when you shuffled up the deck when it comes to the animation, but no, it doesn't look good. Brother, that sucks. So not only can you really only achieve the purpose of this deck while doing specific moves, you also have to do it in new deck order. That's just such a bummer, dude. And that just doesn't work for me. Decks like Analog for Missing New York, they have the same kind of motion. It actually does a full flip, The difference is the analog has a base design around the animation, so it looks nice when you're doing cardistry with it, because outside of the moving graphic, you get these very colorful backdrops. But because of how bold this is, you don't get any more backdrops. It's just the card spinning in air. If someone came up to you and asked you what this deck was, and you didn't have it in new deck order, and you flip through it, they wouldn't get it. You could explain it to them and maybe take 40 minutes to an hour to reset the deck to show them. But if you're just in the wild, just with a shuffled flip deck, you're screwed. People will not understand what this deck's purpose is. Because of how specific this animation is, that is its heaviest crutch as well. Again, it's a really, really cool concept. However, that concept doesn't really lend itself to any other aspects of cardistry. This is quite the downgrade, in my opinion, from something like a focus deck. Focus deck, just as visually stunning when it comes to the concept, but there are no restrictions on that deck. You can do whatever move you'd like with it, and people will get what that deck is about no matter what you're doing with it. This deck comes with terms and conditions. I appreciate the concept, and again, bravo for trying to push something, push the limits, push what a deck of cards could be. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out for me personally. Feeling and handling. This is a WJ deck. I don't love WJ decks. It's pretty run-of-the-mill WJ deck. I'll give it a 7.8. Like I said, these do feel better than the focus deck. They're really thin. Now, I just gave Home 2 shit for being really thin and being a WJ deck, but for some reason, these feel different. They don't feel quite as plasticky as the Home 2 deck. I don't know, they're not quite as stinky for me. They feel pretty fine. It's not the best feeling WJ deck I've handled. It's certainly not the worst though. Overall theme and aesthetic, I'll give them a 7. The theme is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Once again, appreciate the concept. It's a cool idea. However, the aesthetic really isn't there unless you're doing the animation in real time. Other than that, when it comes to normal cardistry and everyday use, it's not really hitting for me. Overall, that gives the flip deck a total deck score of 7. Oh, it's basically what Man of Steel got on IMDb. Very similar. First look at him, you're like, oh my God, Superman. And then like 30 seconds into the movie, you're like, why is he so f***ing emo? Thank you all so much for watching. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe, hit the bell button, and let me know down in the comments, what do you think of the flip deck? Did you like the focus deck? Do you like the flip deck? Do you have the flip deck? Do you not have the flip deck? Would you like a flip deck? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'm really curious to see what other people think of this deck. Nothing personal, I'm sorry. Hey, 7's not the worst score you could have gotten. I'll say it one more time just to make sure we're perfectly clear here. I like Never Never as a company. I think what they're doing is really cool. I think the boundaries that they are pushing when it comes to what a deck of cards can do is really admirable and really cool. This deck didn't quite land for me. I'm excited to see what they do in the future, but this deck doesn't really translate well to other parts of cardistry that I would like it to. It's not as satisfying as that focus deck was for me. That's all I gotta say about it. I will see you on the next one.